Blogging, remember that? It's not dead. In fact, it might be the sneakiest way to actually book weddings.
It's like that quiet kid in high school that suddenly owns 3 businesses at 25. You weren't really paying attention, but surprise, this kid's really rich.
And meanwhile, you're over here refreshing Instagram, trying to beat the algorithm on a platform you don't own.
Exactly. But blogging, that's working for you 24/7 without reels, without trending audio. You don't even have to dance, Tim, but just your photos, your clients, their stories. They're out there working and attracting your ideal couple year after year.
Let's get into it.
You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast with Lindsay and Tim.
Welcome back to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. My name is Tim.
I'm Lindsay.
And we are the community-driven podcast for photographers just like you.
Just like you.
Just like you.
And Tim and I, we're out here working day after day, hustling, grinding.
One of the things we like to say to each other on wedding days when we work together, and even when we're not, is we are too good at our jobs. And so we decided
too good at our jobs.
A little bit over a year ago, we were going to share some of our too goodness of our jobs with you, lovely photographers and listeners and people in the wedding industry, to shed some light on things we've learned over the last decade or so of working in this industry. And
our ego said, this is too good of information to keep to ourselves.
Yes.
We said, we are too smart, too good looking, too talented as photographers and business owners. It's not even fair for us to just keep that to ourselves and our clients.
No, it feels like a crime.
We should just share all of that with the world. So here we are, week after week. We show up here 98% of every Monday in your ears.
Pretty much.
And 94% of every Monday, we shake this magic 8 ball. It's our higher power. We ask her a question, and sometimes she gives us an answer, and sometimes we just keep shaking, hoping for a new one.
And we're working on that one. We're working on getting a new one. Hopefully you'll have something in the works very soon. Magic 8 Ball, is this the last week of you being here?
Don't threaten her like that.
No? Okay.
She's not going to give you anything good.
That's true. That's true. She is.
If you ask her, is this your last week here? Are you kidding? She's going to be like, dark.
Let's have an exit interview, 8 Ball. No, I want to know, are we going to book something coming up soon? It's a weird time, I think, for people booking.
Truly. Fall we're not even quite fall. It's not quite summer. It's not quite fall. What are we in? At the nail salon, they call it transitional time. Mm-hmm. So you're not going with ghosts on your nails yet. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of challenging as a photographer to be advertising summer stuff.
You can't decide if you want to wear a sweater or a t-shirt most days because the weather changes so goddamn much. So
it's a transitional time, and clients are busy. They're not necessarily out there looking for a photographer, but they will be coming up soon. So let's see if the Magic 8 Ball says we're going to book some stuff soon.
Reply hazy, try again.
Oh, okay. Well, hazy just like the month of September.
Listen, we want to talk about blogging and why it's important in 2025 and why we think you should be continuing it into the new year, into 2026 and beyond. But before we get into that, let's talk about a win we had this week, Lindsay. You booked some stuff.
Well, mine feels like a rude win after Tim's like, yeah, are we going to book anything? And I'm like,
I booked something.
I know.
I'm just saying, Tim, this is the question I have every week.
We're always booking.
Will I book something else?
We're always booking.
I know.
But we are also greedy. And we always want to be booking more. And anyways, my greed has been fulfilled this week because I booked 2 weddings.
Very good.
And you know what? Here's the win. And I talked about this in I have a Facebook group for photographers. I don't know if the people that watch this know that. I have so many weird little avenues, little pockets where I yap.
Yep.
If you didn't know, you can just go on Facebook if you're still on there. Weird. I am too, I guess. And in my Facebook group for photographers, I posted, it's also called Photography Business with Lindsay Coulter, I should say that.
Yep.
I posted not that long ago about the importance of texting your inquiries.
Yes.
So I, on my contact form, asked people's emails and their phone numbers.
Yes.
For years, I never followed up.
Yes.
Years. I literally would be like, take it or leave it, sister.
Yeah.
If you didn't book right off the hop and you didn't respond right away to my initial response, then I guess you don't want it that badly. Mm-hmm. Turns out that's not true.
Yeah.
Turns out that was incorrect. So I have started texting people. Yeah. I try to remember to do it right away, right after I've sent the email so that it doesn't feel like I'm sending a nagging, just following up on this.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't remember. And so then I'll send it 3 days later, especially if I notice they haven't opened the email.
Having an email tracker is so important. I will send it. If they don't open it right away or within the first hour, I'll be like, okay, send a text. I feel like they would have seen it by now. They would have clicked it just to see it.
Yeah, Gmail has gotten really good, but also still really bad at flagging things as spam.
Yeah.
Especially because my response comes with links and a PDF, and then we're talking about money, and it's getting flagged as spam a huge amount of the time.
Sure.
So anyways, I booked 2 weddings this week, and they were both on the heels of me sending follow-ups. One of them I actually had to follow up like 4 times, which I never would have done. But every time I did follow up, they were like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's 2 women. They're both cops. They're just like busy. They both work different shifts from each other. They're maybe not at home together. And when I spoke to them and actually finally got in a call with them, they said, we're not good at planning. Their initial inquiry came from a friend.
Yeah.
You do, preaching to the choir. Their initial inquiry came in from a friend. So I kind of had a feeling like this might require a little bit more effort.
Yeah, on your part.
Yeah. And then the second one, I sent them a follow-up. I would say an hour after I sent the initial email. She said, oh yeah, no, it didn't. It went to my spam.
So helpful.
Then she sent a text saying, yeah, we actually would love to meet with you. Can we just meet tonight? I don't even want to go on your Calendly. Like,
let's not do that. Let's just keep it real light and breezy.
Like, wow. I've changed as a person.
You have. You come a long way.
I used to hate texting clients. I had like an absolutely don't text me unless it's your wedding day rule.
I think it's about boundaries. We discussed this a little bit before the podcast, how like texting is good for when you're in this kind of dating phase of working with a couple. You haven't really booked anything yet. You're still kind of feeling each other out. Decide if you want to work with each other. Decide if it makes sense for the day. Texting, I think, is a perfectly appropriate thing to do in that situation.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it's important to keep things casual and light because you want to make sure that you're like approachable and you're the kind of person that they want to like hang out with and the person that they'd want to text information.
Yes.
With. When it comes to important stuff like the schedule of the day, shot list, details, things that like really matter.
Yes.
When it comes to you doing your job after you booked, everything should go to email after that. But we've talked about that. You know that as
in the text message with this bride this past week, we were going back because I had to customize a package for her. So she was asking me some pricing questions. If we substitute the engagement session for an extra hour of coverage, how much does that look like, the package costs? And then if we add in an extra hour versus 2 hours, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about sort of logistics. So I put that in there. And then as soon as she said, yes, we want to book, I put all that same information in an email.
Yes.
This is the most critical thing. And I feel like so many photographers don't, you have more faith in yourself than you should because you in a year will not remember these conversations and you won't remember how you had it.
Nope.
Especially if you're having it in text message, in Instagram message. Maybe you had that on a phone call or whatever. I love the private notes section of my like focal inquiry form. So when I send people their booking, it has my message to the client, but then it has a private notes section.
Yes.
And that's where I put all of my thoughts.
We'll likely need 2 extra hours.
Yeah, we'll likely need 2 extra hours. I do put things in that like not necessarily things that I'd be afraid that they would see because I'm always afraid that something that says private notes is inevitably going to be sent to them.
Yes.
But I will put in, I have specific emojis that mean different things to me.
Oh, so brilliant.
If someone's very budget conscious, I have different things. If somebody seems wild, I have a little cowboy hat. I do the little cowboy. Like they seem like, oh, they're going to be a party.
What a nice reminder for yourself.
Yeah. And then when I open it like a couple weeks before their wedding, I'm like, oh yeah, yeehaw, let's go.
Rodeo.
Yeah. So, instead of if God forbid they ever got my private notes, it would literally just be their schedule and it wouldn't say,
this couple's
broke and has no money.
They need more time.
Gonna say that. And I truly don't mean that. I mean they're conscious of their budget.
Yes.
That's valid, and we should all be. Speaking of being conscious, we are hopefully awake and ready to have a spectacular episode.
Can I talk about my win first? We're just going to do the Lindsay show. What's the deal here?
I forgot we were talking about wins. I just started rolling on talking about booking stuff, and then we talked about text messages.
No, it's cool.
Tim, you have so many wins. How could you even choose which one you're going to talk about?
That's the hardest part. It's kind of a loss for everyone, actually, if I choose one win over the other win.
When you're choosing from so many wins.
Listen, here's my win. I had a couple reach out maybe a month ago asking for a Super 8 only package, which is something I don't offer. I'm like, you know what? That sounds great. Less editing on my part. I can roll up on the day, bring 5 carts of 50 feet each of Super 8 film, shoot the day kind of like very much a highlight, process it, develop it, put it on a timeline, slap a song underneath, let it rip. Like, let's do it. So I priced it out. It made sense. They were like, can we do 4 hours? I'm like, you're going to need 5, but let's do it. So I put them in. And then I built a package around it. Now I'm doing a package of Super 8 stuff and I'm getting inquiries for that, which is very exciting. So
That is cool.
It's fun, right?
You know,
I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Like it's so obvious, but I think
and something that's so easy for you.
So easy.
Oh my gosh.
And I think the culture, the zeitgeist of people wanting to have more motion film in their weddings has made that really convenient for me, because when I started doing motion film not long ago, maybe in 2020, I think it was at a time when it wasn't financially responsible for anyone to be doing that.
No.
And it wasn't as ubiquitous, as topical as it is now, which is great.
Yeah.
So it's helped me a long way.
It's almost like you responded to the market
Yeah.
so quickly, but then
Yeah.
the market also wanted what you were offering
Yeah.
even more. Like it was like you were really good at picking fantasy football, but for your business. Speaking of fantasy football, what's up, everybody?
Who's still in?
Go Bills. Super stoked that football season is here.
Yeah.
And that's my second win. Sorry, what's your second win? Now we'll just keep going back and forth.
I'm editing wedding films, and I'm realizing that I'm too good at like storytelling.
Honestly, that's so true. Tim sent me and our friend Jeff Mack, who was just on. If you haven't seen his episode, please go back. It's very inspiring. He sent us a video of himself editing a recent elopement we did. Just him telling us how good he is at his job. And some people might think that that's annoying, but I'm like, we know Tim. It's true.
But it's one of those things where like I'll be working, I'm like, oh, and I'll watch back the last 20 seconds or whatever I cut together. I'm like, this could be on like a Netflix, like this is good documentary content footage.
But let's reverse
it's
1
well
hour.
Constructed.
Do you remember the hour before that?
I crashed out completely.
Tim
because,
was crashing out so aggressively that
issues.
I left my nail appointment and I was like, I'm coming to the studio, calm down.
Yeah, no.
And I met him at the studio just so I could be like, this isn't the end of the world by any means. Like by not even the closest, longest stretch of the stretches.
Yes. But we solved it.
But it's so funny. Being a creative in September is literally the most giant roller coaster of all time.
It literally is.
At one moment you're editing thinking I am dog shit and no one should ever hire me. And the next you're like, should my stuff be on Netflix?
Should I be charging a lot more money?
Can we please get in to blogging?
Why blogging still matters.
It's so important.
Yes.
Here's the thing that we did this week. I was on Pic-Time's creative marketing webinar with a number of other cool people, talented photographers. Magic, the wedding photographer, hosted it. He's such a good guy.
He's a good egg.
Every photographer, I think there were 5
6
of us, maybe.
I remember a grid of 6. I could be wrong. Doesn't matter.
You know what? Maybe one included Magic. Maybe there were 6 of us and I don't remember. Doesn't matter. There were a number of us, and it's actually going to be replayed, so you can go on.
Oh, good. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, you can go on Pic-Time's YouTube and you can watch it there.
I missed it. I had to shoot. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. People are working. It's important to work. But this webinar basically was Pic-Time. My lovely dear friend Aga at Pic-Time came to me and she said, "You have opinions on things. Would you like to share them on how you market as a creative?" And also it's fun to not just put your creativity into actually photography and storytelling, but into your marketing and how you attract clients and how you attract your ideal client. We each only had 10 minutes, which I mean, it's taken us 10 minutes just to say hi so far today. So you can imagine that I felt like not nearly enough time for us to dig into really any of these in like a really super meaningful way.
No.
But the one thing that I noticed that I would say, I think almost everyone touched on, except for one photographer who said she just got a website last year because she's just crushing it on TikTok and Instagram. That's
wild. Good for her.
I know her work is absolutely stunning. Everybody needs to go and find this webinar because it was really good. And her name was Malura. And she was the only person that hasn't been leaning into blogging, but almost everybody mentioned blogging. And I was like, you know, it's crazy. You're talking to all these photographers that have found some level of success. That's why they're talking to us. And that's why they're asking us for, how did you do this?
Sure.
And I think a lot of people would expect somebody to say, oh, well, it's because you have a huge following on Instagram. And not one of the people, and all the people had way bigger followings than me. Like I'm in like the 30,000. These people are in the 100,000 range. And none of them said, it's because I have a massive following on Instagram and because I went viral multiple times over.
Right.
And while that might be true, and those things might be helpful in social proof, in getting people to find you and getting people to find your blog, all of those things, the thing that everybody came back to was that blogging is still important. And it is. And I think the biggest reason why all of us feel that is that it's evergreen.
Yeah.
It's something that you create one time and it continues having value for years to come.
Absolutely.
Some of the reasons why I'm a preferred vendor at almost all the places I'm a preferred vendor is because I shot one of their first weddings at some of their venues.
Yeah.
Like I shot the Allura Mill 20 something times the first year they were open because I shot their very first, one of their first weekends
and
there.
You blogged right away.
And if you get an inquiry at a place that it's early days, shoot it for $1.
Yeah.
Because the amount of money that blog will make you over time by just being the very first person to have photos of that venue, even if the venue evolves and looks different over the years, you're the first person that did it.
You're the OG.
Then the next 10 blogs that you write about that same venue are going to continue.
And we'll get into the strategy of like which images to pick and how to structure your blog so it is evergreen and not in a way of like just showing trends, because that can be a thing that can really shoot you in the foot too.
Absolutely. And you know what? Trends are fun. Like
trends
if you
are
think
fun,
about blogs,
for sure.
I feel like our listener base is broad. You know, we have
who are
you? Tell us. We have probably photographers that have been blogging or used to blog once upon an era in a time when you used to have to put photos into Photoshop in order to make them into a grid. And then we have photographers who are still so new and so young that maybe they actually don't have a blog yet and they don't even have a website yet. And that is also okay. So we are going to get into the why, the how, and we're even going to provide you at the end with a link to a template so that you can just literally not reinvent the wheel every single time. You can literally just plug and play and blog super consistently and get people. So one thing that is very important about blogging, we'll start it off with, is that couples are Googling very specific things.
Yes.
When was the last time you just Googled photographer?
It's been a long time.
Photographer near me. And it is possible. You'll do, like, I'll do, stores, blah, 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 near me. Sure. Right? If you are just looking for an actual specific thing.
To solve a problem that's broad, and I'll take anyone right now.
Of course.
Yeah.
But if you are a couple getting engaged and you want to propose to your fiance in Florence, you're probably going to type in proposal/engagement photographers in Florence. And then you're going to look at the top one, maybe the top 3.
Yeah.
And you're going to look at whose vibe matches yours.
Yeah.
And who looks like they update their website the most regularly. And maybe from there, you're going to go to their Instagram.
Love it.
And sometimes it goes the other way. Sometimes you're looking on Instagram and you're searching those things. And this is important. SEO has now come to Instagram, as our dear friend Angela over at Social Templates has told us.
Yeah.
SEO is here for Instagram.
If you Google yourself and do it right now, dear listener, pull over to the side of the road if you're driving. If you have Instagram presence or a TikTok presence, a lot of those will rank higher than a lot of your pages. Like your website's top, and then it'll be Instagram posts.
Yes.
Like, that's weird. Yeah.
And the fantastic thing is, what that means is that you don't have to make a blog and then be like, well, that's the blog. No, you can make a reel that goes along with it. You can make a post that goes along with it.
Yeah.
Your stories will then post to those permanent things in your feed.
Because
they're evergreen.
They're evergreen, and you're building on your own land.
And that's the thing I think that's the most important.
Yes.
Is that we have seen platforms rise and fall.
Vine, rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Vine. The principles of shareable, consumable content will remain. So it's not to say
rest in peace.
Yeah, it's not to say that it's not worth still creating on these platforms because they're going to come and go. No, it's still important.
Still important.
And being able to get attention and being able to keep it is a skill set that every single one of us should hope to have.
Rest in peace.
Oh my God, you know all of them. Tell me another
Dig?
one.
Is Dig one?
I don't know. With 2 G's? I don't know. Who
cares?
Like probably
Stumble upon
Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, rest in peace, until they literally put a plant in our brain.
Yeah.
But the really important thing here is that you are building on the land you own. And listen, unless you actually own Squarespace or some sort of website platform, and even if you do own one, you can never fully guarantee that it will be around forever and ever.
Zuckerberg could take it all down if he wants to.
However, I have blogs on my website that I have carried over from my very first WordPress website, and I just move them from place to place. It's important to back them up, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
But couples are Googling super specific things. So they're not typing in wedding photographer. They're typing in something like, a summer wedding at Langdon Hall because they want to know what summer wedding photos look like there.
They want to know what the venue is going to look like in the summer. They want to know what the flowers are going to look like in the summer. Yes, the trees, the
cocktail
lighting.
reception at Cambridge Mill.
They have specific terms they're looking for, right?
If they think they're doing something that's different and unique and they want to know what photos might look like at that venue, if you can get them looking at your photos before they have booked the venue, you have won.
Yeah.
And the great thing is most venues are really bad at having up-to-date and current content at their venues.
You know who's worse? Caterers.
So
Caterers
bad.
are if you're a caterer,
I must know what in the
correct me if I'm wrong, but why do you not have any photos of food on your website?
Or why does your food look like it came out of like
Chernobyl.
in Japan, the plastic food that they've got in the window, that's what a lot of this shit looks like. I'm like, that's not appetizing.
No one wants that.
I don't understand. Or like a pig on a spit. First of all, that's gross.
Or an empty grill. Like put something on it. You took the photo. I know you were there.
Hire literally the photographer that you see every weekend to come and do some lifestyle photos of you. I digress. Okay.
Pull your iPhone out every.
Tim. Why do you think that we do this? Is it just SEO? Is it just so that we rank high? It can't be only that.
For blogging?
Yeah.
I think you touched on it earlier. It's for giving people an idea of what their day could look like. And you are the arbiter of what that day could look 100%. Like based on the images you put together. It gives people a chance to think about a thing. I'm like, okay, I want a garden wedding at Langdon Hall. I want it to be in fall. I want these types of flowers, maybe. We'll see what it looks like. And they'll type it in. And before they've actually decided in their brain what that fully looks like, they come across your photos on your blog because you've SEO'd it really well.
And curated, which is so beautiful. You've gotten rid of all the nonsense that a person
photos.
That's not that couple wouldn't care about.
Bingo.
Right?
But before they've had a chance to fully realize what that image looks like in their head and what their day looks like, they've seen images of what it could be and like, oh, that's it. And so you become this funnel of dreams for people that they're able to visualize how their day will look based on the images that you created. And so when they think about, I need a photographer for this day, who did it so well that matches the image in my brain? Oh yeah, it's Lindsay Coulter because she actually took the photos before I actually decided what it's going to look like.
Yes.
I'm going to hire that girl.
It's obviously SEO, but there are people in our city that have phenomenal SEO,
yes.
But they have SEO because they made those photos in 2012. Like, that's not the beginning of the internet, but I'm like, whatever. But they had stuff out that was so early.
Yeah.
That sounded so Canadian of me out. That they had stuff out there so early.
Yeah.
They're ranking number one. Okay, there is an exception to the ranking number one because some of those people are not even really photographers anymore.
No,
like they'll take your money, I guess.
Yeah.
They aren't going to be responsive. It's not their thing. That's maybe not for them anymore. And that happens.
Sure.
If someone in your area is still ranking higher than you and they are not taking great, exceptional photos, that's such a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what this does, I think, go back to conversations that we had with Lachlan in the past, right? Where he says sometimes SEO, it's easier to go for the low hanging fruit. So instead of like summer wedding at Langdon Hall, you could talk about like best vendors for Langdon Hall or something that people are still searching for. Okay, we're getting too specific.
No, it's helpful, I think.
Before we get too specific now we talked about the why, blah, 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 SEO, it's not dead. Tim, tell me about a blog that you have that is still performing very well to this day, because I think that that's always very funny. People don't quite understand what we mean by how valuable this thing is. Like, are you still getting bookings from old blogs that you have, or like does anybody ever reach out? You can see that they were on it before and now they inquire.
Two work really well.
Okay.
And I need to change one of them, which is kind of fun.
Okay.
So the one is describing and showing what a wedding day looks like in video, because one of those things is kind of like every videographer does it very differently.
Yeah.
This shows like, hey, you get a VidFlow website, a gallery on there, you get all these different edits, and I point people towards that when they're like, what is in a video gallery?
What do I get?
Because you can describe it in a post or a package details, but I think it doesn't give it the full weight that an image and a gallery of images could do.
Sure.
And like giving them proper links. So that's super helpful. The other one is for the GTK Chapel, which is one I need to change because I'm the preferred vendor there. Basically, people check a box, they get a photographer, either it's me or an associate, which works well for me because it fills my days midweek. I like doing them a lot. I want to fill more of my calendar with them. So we talked about this in March of last year. This year, actually, at WPPI. That's crazy.
What
That was
year?
this year.
I don't want to talk about that.
About splitting my brand.
2027? Is that the year we're in?
Splitting my brand from Timothy Music Photography and Films to Timothy Music Photography and Films, and then having a split off of that.
Yeah, we workshopped it on the show. How fun.
Yeah, DTK Chapel Photographer, and which is what I've done. I've repurposed one of my old Instagram accounts for like portraits I wasn't using.
Yeah.
Made that a thing. And so I'm going to start posting there and making that the directory of where all images that everyone posts and shares from the DTK Chapel go to there. And so right now there's a blog on my website that describes what a chapel wedding looks like.
Sick.
Which needs to be moved to a different site. So
Okay.
More informative for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to make it more informative.
I need to. Well, currently, most of my highest hitting blogs are the informative ones.
Okay. Okay. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
So my
What are yours?
the one that I seem to get the most inquiries for is not helpful for me actually, and I should say inquiries specifically mentioning it, and I know where they've come from because of it. Whereas like I'll get inquiries for the same venues. I don't know. Perhaps they went through the blog and they found the 6 posts about it.
Sure.
Usually my referrals come from you're on the preferred vendor list.
Yes.
Then they go to my website and Instagram, and then they do some further digging from there. And hopefully those things all support, yes, we like this girl. Yes, she knows what she's doing. And yes, she's good at these venues specifically.
Bingo.
One of those weddings that I shot or that I booked this week was so specific. I think if you're not in a creative industry, it can be sometimes hard to picture your day, or if your day is something unique. So for instance, this couple that hired me this past week wanted to see examples of photos that I had shot at said venue, at said time of year, in said specific room.
Zero imagination.
with a smaller guest count. Okay. And I think it's that for whatever reason, I haven't done a good enough job of convincing them. I've got range, baby.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 20 people. I don't care if it's 150 people.
Sure.
I'm going to execute the shit out of that.
Yeah.
But the great thing is that I was able to show them multiple different blog posts and galleries that show the range of what they're looking for. Okay, maybe not that specific venue with those many people, but here's a thing with this many people. And here's this venue at this time of year, blah, blah, blah. It's so excellent, and it's such a helpful tool to be able to show people, here's a thing I did in your specific thing, roughly and generally. But here's the blog that I get the most specific inquiries for.
What do you got?
It was a Disney Cruise Line wedding.
Right.
So I shot a wedding on a Disney cruise. Colette and Johnny, gorgeous couple, stunning wedding. Her dress was, I'm pretty sure, a custom Haley Page. Just unbelievable. It was so cool. We had like some of the most iconic photos from it of them on Disney's private beach in the Bahamas with the cruise ship behind
in the background.
them.
I remember those photos.
They look incredible. The couple looks so cool. I think that we did a pretty good job of executing on the vision, the overall vision of the day, but also, of course, knowing the brand Disney and knowing how many like talented vendors and people were involved. I wanted to make sure that I had like commercially pleasing images. So I shot it with that in mind. Shot knowing I'm obviously going to execute on gorgeous family photos, beautiful bridal party, fun candids, all of these things. But if somebody does something wild and different, like a Disney cruise, and they hired specific characters for their Disney cruise that like apparently Disney people knew about, I wasn't one. That is going to be, it's going to do so well, and it's going to do such good SEO.
Yeah.
My problem is that I don't want to do that again.
She's over it.
I loved Colette and Johnny's wedding, but doing a cruise wedding has so many incredible challenges. You know what? If you're listening to this and you're thinking, I want a Disney cruise, Jess Collins, phenomenal Disney photographer, has an entire Disney photography brand. She's your girl. It's not for me. The amount of energy that goes into being on a cruise ship already is really a lot for me. Yeah. And I like a cruise. Sure. I mean, before the plague, I went on a couple of cruises. I really enjoyed it. But then there's that whole Netflix, like whatever thing about poop cruise.
Oh,
I have to take that blog. I don't know. I don't want to take it down though.
Why not? Can you hide it? Can you make it?
Well, no, because I think it looks cool on my website. So even if you're getting married locally, you're like, this girl, someone trusted her enough to hire her and bring her on a cruise. And she shot this like multiple $100,000 wedding on a cruise. That's cool. And
do you get inquiries for Disney cruises still? Do you get people asking?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like I would say every few months, I still get an inquiry for a Disney cruise. Okay. no one has ever had the amount of money required in order to execute it in the same way that Colette and Johnny did. Colette and Johnny, like they put a lot of time and energy and financial resources behind this wedding. And unfortunately, when you do blog something that is that exceptional, people are like, how do I have that? And I'm like, there is a dollar amount that I fear maybe you're not aware of to make that happen. So for good and bad, your blog posts will be evergreen.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not the thing that get you bookings that single day.
But there'll be things that people connect with,
But they are something that even if it's like a local bride, she's also likes Disney. Now you have this thing that you can connect on.
Hey, you like Disney. Great.
So we are going to get into the anatomy of a high performing blog post. Okay. Because we're not just talking about the why should you do this. We're actually going to get into some specifics. We're not going to go too in depth on this. There will be a link in the description if you want to read like the actual anatomy of this blog post, because I wrote a whole thing, hence why we're talking about it now.
Hell yeah, brother. Title.
That's actually the title, is Hell Yeah, Brother. Tim, talk to me about titles. How do you
titles
title a blog?
Titles are the worst. I think it's one of those things where, no, you think about it and you're like, you're trying to be relatable. You're trying to be like, how can I present this blog post in a way that's like simple? And chat gives you all these different things. You feed in chat. You're like, hey chat, this is how the day looked.
Tell me more, yeah.
Please write me a title, and it'll come back wistfully romantic and
it always uses
lovely
the dumbest
couple.
words. Chat, don't do that.
I have to train her, but basically,
we all actually have to train her.
We all do, but you want to be. I think you want to be relatable, but not being too cute. You know what I mean? Like not being too formulaic, too typical, too stereotypical.
There's a fine balance in titling that is searchable and is going to rank high because the title is a really strong ranking tool.
For sure.
And it's also a thing that's going to hopefully get people's attention.
Yes.
It's going to be something like this. Romantic summer wedding at Langdon Hall with Lindsay Coulter Photography.
There it is.
Or
intimate, private.
Downtown Kitchener.
Yes.
Good vibes wedding.
Good
with
vibes only
whatever.
wedding.
You can add in, it's not that it has to only be a Laura Mill wedding photography, okay?
But the amount of times you see that, and you probably, as a listener and watcher, you've probably seen more than enough blogs, but like it's just, they're so much the same.
The thing that does really well is going to be something like direct flash wedding reception at Sugar Run bar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Those are going to be the things that are going to rank really well. So
specifics.
Really, really specific things. Include your name, include a location, get a little location win in there if you can. Try to not be too repetitive. If you look through your blog posts and you're like, oh, that was
romantic, intimate, private. Yeah. Lovely.
That's the thing. Okay. So title.
Important to get that right. And also your title can be different, but not too different than the actual slug. So lindsaycoulterphoto.com/blog. Yeah.
Elora Mill wedding photos.
So once you've nailed that down,
right.
Time to go into the intro. The intro. Listen, you shot probably thousands of weddings, hundreds of weddings. I'm not sure where you're at in your photography journey, listener.
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of weddings. Every wedding can start to blend into the other one. Like they all kind of mix together to be one kind of blob of wedding. And that's not because you're a heartless person. It's because you do this every weekend or often enough to be like, it's a job. They're all pretty formulaic. They're all kind of work the same way.
Of course.
How do you differentiate this one you want to blog in a way that seems like it's worthy of being a blog? So, hey, I showed up at, like, what's the intro? What do you start with?
So, okay. I know we're talking about the anatomy and we are going in order.
Yeah.
But when I actually build it, I reverse engineer it.
Okay.
I select all of the images first.
Right.
And
let that tell
typically
the story.
Those images tell me what version of writing I want to do. I really like to write.
Okay.
If you're not a writer, I strongly recommend you choose the images first because the images will then tell you what would I want to say about this?
Yeah.
And perhaps it's that you want to say something about this was my first wedding at this location. I worked with these vendors. Maybe the florals were like showstoppers. Well, then you're going to talk about that because that would be weird if you had this whole blog post and you didn't talk about the fact that this couple dropped a house on their photography budget.
Strategy wise, if you're laying, and we'll get to this probably, but if you're laying out photos and the first one is like of florals and the grid of like maybe 20, 30 photos. Do you start with that? Like that's the intro so they can see like below the fold, like, oh, there's a
little teaser.
Yeah. Or do you say the dance party was popping and it was the best?
And then you
don't show that photo. You just show florals. Yeah. Do you
Personally,
get people
I would say, yeah, probably.
Which?
The latter.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The latter.
Yes.
Yes. In fact, I would say the latter where you want to tease it in the same way. Like I said, you're doing the same formula, whether it's for TikTok, Vine, or your blog. You're trying to get people to scroll all the way through.
Yeah.
And the great thing with the blog is they actually don't have to scroll all the way through for you to get all of the energy and all of the good vibes out of your blog. But you do want them to stay on it for long enough that it makes sense. So for SEO purposes, if I say, check out this beautiful brunch wedding, and then I only show reception photos of an evening dark bar, people will jump off because they'll be confused. In the same way that if you've ever searched for a restaurant and somehow they're ranking really high and it brings you to another thing with a very similar name, you're going to bounce off.
Yeah.
That bounce off then tells Google,
no bueno.
That's not it. Don't show them that blog anymore.
Go away. Yeah.
So
pick the images, let them tell the story if you're not good at writing.
But in the actual formula of how you structure the blog, there needs to be an introduction.
Okay.
So it's just in the process of writing the thing. I would say choose your photos first. But the intro, you want to set the scene. You mentioned the couple. This comes with a little bit of a caveat. If your couple is very private, perhaps use their initials. Always, when you're blogging something, you should always obviously make sure that you have a model release.
Yep.
Make sure you know your clients. Make sure that you understand.
Check in with them. See if they actually
their privacy.
don't mind being on this blog. You know?
Yes. And perhaps their response will be, yeah, no problem. Please no pictures of the kids, or whatever, right? This is not, we don't have enough time for me to go into the specifics of privacy. Actually, I have a blog about it. But set the scene, mention the couple, mention the venue, slip in your location keyword. And you want to slip it in a way that feels normal. Like don't make it insane. Welcome to this beautiful Elora Mill wedding, captured in the heart of Elora with Elora photographer Tim Musa. Like, no, don't make it insane.
Yeah.
Make it sound conversational. Like,
read it out loud. If it sounds insane saying it to someone else, it's probably not worth writing.
Yes. Set the scene. Yeah. Try, like, your intro should be, a hamburger, right? You guys remember writing class. The bun is the people are getting excited. Now for the meat. It's a Beyond Burger today. Storytelling. You want your couples to actually connect with you. And so if you're not a writer, this can be where you use certain tools like ChatGPT or even a friend to read some things over and tell you they looked at the photos and they said, okay, I really like these photos. Here's what it tells me. But use your images to tell the story first. Yeah. Every single wedding, although they can start running into each other, they are still unique.
Yes.
From your couple's perspective, what did they feel? What did they see? What did they eat? What did it look like? And from the guest perspective, all of those same questions. And that's what the story is. Yeah. So even if for you, you're like, yes, dress, shoes, food, eat. Now, there is a story. There is a story that every single wedding has.
Yeah.
And it can be something with a little bit of conflict. It can be, it rained and we were so worried, but this couple kept their shit together. They were so calm, cool, and collected. And look at how fantastic these photos looked, even though it rained.
We had no idea.
Connect with them a little bit on the storytelling and then break it down into some wedding highlights. So this can be getting ready, ceremony, portraits, reception. And
you're saying,
as far as the image number. So this is where we're getting into images. Yes. Okay. So we did a little intro. We did a little writing.
What's the magic number?
I feel like the best number is the one that's going to keep them scrolling long enough that Google says, yes, good work here. Yeah. Doesn't immediately bounce off. They're like, yep, they committed. They stuck around. They watched and looked through all of this stuff. Yeah. 30 to 50 to 60 photos, but with the most massive caveat to that of if you only have 10 exceptional photos, do not put 30 to 60 photos together just to fill the gap, blog, right? The blog, Not every wedding is going to have getting ready photos. Not every wedding is going to have details. Not every wedding is going to have X, Y, Z. Do not try to fit a wedding that doesn't fit that formula into this formula.
Bingo.
The worst thing a blog can do for you is have couples go to it and say, ooh, not for me.
Oops.
Right? And not every wedding is going to be portfolio quality.
For sure.
And that's not to say that there's ugly weddings, whatever happening, and you photograph them and that's that. Just some weddings have higher details.
Yeah.
They have a better structure. They have a better schedule. They hired you for longer. They have a second photographer.
Better light. Could be anything.
Any number of things.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you need to blog something just because it existed. Content for the sake of content is actually really not valuable. That would devalue the overall website.
That's why we're here, guys. We're trying to add to the positive light of the content on the internet.
Tim and I actually have never created content for content's sake. Not one day in our lives. So the blog can be 10 photos if you only have exceptional photos.
Love that.
Consider the format in which most people consume, which is on their phones.
Yep. Portrait versus landscape for the most part.
Portrait versus landscape.
Unless it's like a banger photo.
Yeah. Well, the other issue for me is that if an image is portrait, that it's going to fill the entire screen probably. Whereas then when you put a landscape one below it, it's going to get lost.
Yeah.
So personally, I put portrait and landscape ones together in a grid.
Got it.
So that the portrait one and the landscape one, they still end up with the same height.
Got it.
We shall get into the tools, but
Sure.
that's not happening yet.
Sure.
Tim, what's happening next?
Venue spotlight. Typically couples book, the first thing is they find the date and they find the venue. And so that's kind of their fulcrum. You know what I mean? Like that thing of the teeter, like that's their main starting point is like, okay, I have the venue. I know I have the venue. Everything revolves around the venue and availability of this date. So you want to mention the venue as much as possible because, aside from caterers, they're also sometimes not great at updating their stuff.
Yeah.
So you can provide that service for that venue through this blog post. They'll love you even more. You can backlink things to them. We'll talk about that soon. But when it comes to the venue, highlight it and let them know, in the blog post why you love shooting this venue, why it's a positive experience for you to be there from the venue's perspective, from your perspective, from the other vendors you're working with. Make it venue centric.
100%.
And your joy that you feel on that day. And
showcasing images that perhaps aren't going to make it, in the couple maybe isn't going to post this great outdoor shot of the venue itself.
They wouldn't.
But that might be the thing that lands on Google Images when somebody searches for that venue. If your blog performs well enough.
Banner photo that they might use on the website, but it's maybe something they don't print and they look at it like, oh, it's lovely, that's great, but I want the close-up shot of us dipping each other and having a good laugh.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
There are different purposes for why we're shooting things. So
for sure.
Highlight the venue in both your written text as well as in your imagery. Vendor credits. Always credit and link your vendors. It's networking, it's SEO rolled into one. When it comes to linking vendors, that can be a little bit challenging. It's really, it's going to take a little bit of legwork for you to, maybe you go to the planner, maybe you go to the couple.
Maybe you have a schedule that has everyone listed.
Yes, on Pic-Time.
Yeah.
Here's a little Pic-Time shout out, my friends. There is a vendor specific invitation thing that you can do. So on the morning of a wedding, I create the gallery, and then at the wedding itself, I hand around a QR code for the vendors to scan, which then gives them access to join the gallery whenever the gallery is ready, but it also gives me a pre-built list of all the people, including their Instagram and their websites.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's worth switching to Pic-Time for.
Totally.
But seriously, that's enormous.
Yeah. It's massive.
Make sure that you're crediting your vendors. Make sure that you are giving them all of their flowers, especially if they did a really incredible job on something. Shout them out specifically for it. It is okay. You can shout out oh, this person made a suit. And it was fine. Or it was a suit rental.
They made a suit.
It was a suit rental and it was literally nobody cared about the suit rental.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Still mention them for sure. But the people that did an insane amount of work, the planner, the florist, maybe the musician was exceptional. Feel free to write a little bit of something if you had a personal experience with them.
And then when you tag them, because you want to make sure you're linking the things to their websites, their Instagram, whatever it may be. We talked about this before the show.
Yes.
Is it more beneficial for you to tag them within the description of what you're describing? Like Joanne from Joanne's Flowers was the greatest, and then as you write Joanne's Flowers, you link from that paragraph to her website, or do you put them in a list at the bottom underneath everything so people have to
personally
scroll?
It's dealer's choice, but I think it depends on how you've structured it. If you only have 10 photos, then I would mix them in between.
Okay.
Look at these incredible flowers from so-and-so.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to get people to continue scroll through 60 images, then I would say it's easier to put them as a brick of like, here are all the vendors, especially if all of the vendors there's a ton of them.
And you say maybe the description, like link to vendors below.
Yes.
And that way people do have to scroll to the bottom.
And they do have to. And personally, I put my vendors, and I don't think this is a good move, but I put my vendors right after I've written the text of the blog.
Got it.
Because I really want those vendors to feel like I gave them the kudos and the gratitude, really, because my images would suck if we had no nice hair and makeup and no nice flowers and, no nice, nothing, anything to look at. So
for sure,
I try to do that up at the top. My blogs, you can go lindsaycoulterphoto.com/blog. I need to be blogging more frequently.
Me too.
Don't we all? So after the vendor credits, you must include a call to action. There's literally no point in putting this all together if you're not reminding people of where to find you and how to get to you. And so it should say something like, ready to do this?
You want this?
You are getting married there.
You saw this.
Do you have questions about X, Y, and Z?
You like this?
Here we are.
Click this.
You can come here and click this and make it so incredibly annoying for them to not click your call to action, to book a package. You can even link to specific packages if you have your packages of pricing online. Like you could say, if you like this full story of a wedding day, this was my collection too. That's where it is right here. You should go and you should
come
buy
get it.
That specific thing.
Yeah, it should be a sales funnel. At the end of the day, it is pretty pictures. It is nice to share the images with other vendors so they can like have something to point to from a wedding that they worked on. But at the end of the day, you're selling yourself, baby. This isn't about just photos in a museum. You're working at a bookstore. A bookstore? Is that a good analogy? You're working at a place that sells...
Sure. Pants store.
You need to sell. So this is a sales tool.
People are coming in there looking at your stuff. And they want to know how to buy said stuff.
Bingo.
That's true.
Not a museum.
We are going to talk quick SEO wins, and I'm so far from the SEO genius here, but I don't know. We know a couple of things.
Sure.
Here's one thing that I do know.
Hit it.
Rename your image files. So instead of just having whatever your image files are named as, but you uploaded them to the client's gallery, or God forbid your files are still named DSC_0987.jpg. Rename your image files for something that is Googleable.
You don't need to go back into Lightroom to do that. You can go through Finder or through Windows and just like click on them, click a batch of them, rename, like you can batch rename them right there within whatever you have them saved outside of Lightroom. So it
says shoot your shot wedding. -1, -2.
This is true for social media as well and for YouTube. Like we thumbnail everything we do here for YouTube, and the thumbnails will say blog episode, Shoot Your Shot podcast, episode 79, whatever
I
this is.
have also seen people name things really insane things, and on occasion I will have to download somebody's image from a website. Like I'll have to download a logo or I'll have to download whatever. And
final.
If the designer has named it something like F this final, your clients might be able to find that out. Hopefully you're using a thing that doesn't allow people to download your images. But speaking of that, Tim,
please,
are we putting watermarks on stuff or what? Tell me your thoughts.
I don't watermark things.
No.
I don't watermark them for the couples because I think that's crazy. And I don't have a very print forward business. My business, like yours, is here's a full gallery of your wedding day. Download, make prints if you should, and you should through this Pic-Time gallery we have.
Yeah.
But for the most part, these are like heirlooms. These are like nice things to have. You don't need my logo in the bottom right. And also, I think from a perspective of couples looking at your blog for the first time, they could be like, why are these watermarked? Am I going to have watermarked photos? That could freak you out. That's a red flag.
So I used to watermark everything, but that was also, people used to steal my stuff all the time.
All the time.
Now I'm not talented enough. Nobody cares to steal my stuff. So personally, no, I'm not watermarking things either, but for that same reason, I'm afraid that my clients will think that that's what a finished image looks like.
Don't want that.
And I don't want that. And for the risk of somebody infringing upon my copyright and stealing my images, I guess that's where we're going to do it. And also it's way too easy for people to get rid of a watermark now anyways.
It won't matter.
Like you're putting all that effort in for not a lot of reason. And the other issue is it really timestamps the images.
Dude.
So even if your images are quite timeless and your editing is quite timeless, they're going to look and say that was a crazy logo she used to have once upon a time. And I can still see it. I see my old logo has like a big filigree. It's crazy.
It's gone. It's not here anymore.
Thankfully, I don't do that anymore. So quick SEO wins: rename your image file, write descriptive alt text. Depending on how you're blogging, there may be a thing. I use Narrative Publish to blog, and they actually do have like an alt text thing in there that you can fill in. So just write descriptive alt text for what is this? What am I looking at? So that Google, when it's searching for what am I looking at, you tell it what
this is what you're looking at, Google.
Add internal links to your other posts. So link back to your packages, link back to an About Me page, link back to you want more from this venue. Here's another thing that I did here.
You may have seen this in my portfolio on my website. It's right here as well.
You want to see this in the fall instead of the summer? Here's another one that you can look at, right? Like re-linking back to your own things and getting people to stay on your website longer is massive.
Very good for SEO.
And keeping it skimmable, because people are going to skim. That's the truth. And nobody's going to sit there, not even your mom is going to sit there and read and think through every single word and think, wow, how thoughtful. I love all of that.
People don't have the energy or the attention span that they used to.
Unfortunately,
we've all been trained to dopamine hit.
I'm afraid to fact check this.
Please.
But I believe that the average reading level in
North America?
Let's call it North America. That's what I'm referring to for sure. That's the country I'm referring to.
Sure.
The average reading level of a country that is to the south of us is grade 5. So you do not want to be making your
5-letter words.
You do not want to be making your language too complicated.
That's too complicated.
And just also for consumable stuff. But there's a reason why
Make words
TikToks
small.
are 20 seconds and have very simple words in them because that's what we can consume and
that's the bar.
Intellectually process.
If you're listening and you understood that, you're in the top 90th percentile. Congratulations. Well done.
Or there's something broken in your brain also, just like ours. Okay. Let's talk about making this sustainable, because here's the thing. Blogging is, it can feel Herculean. It can feel like, wow, I am the most exceptional person because I blogged once last year. I used to make like a joking welcome back to Lindsay's annual blog post where I would blog one wedding and then I would have really great aspirations of blogging another one.
It's like that grade that people used to do on Instagram. Like, here's my top 9 for the year.
Yes,
right?
that was me in February.
Yeah.
This is where most people fall off.
Okay.
Is in the consistency and the sustainability of it. And then people are wondering, why am I not doing well? Why is my business not performing?
Did you try?
Let's go back. Let's try again and again and again and again. You do not need to write a whole ass novel for every single blog. You need to write, like we said, small, digestible paragraphs, include many pretty pictures. You can even create little videos if you're a videographer, or even if you just have little iPhone tidbits, but content that's consumable and enjoyable. Use a template and plug in the details. And we're even going to give you the template, basically everything that we just told you here, but it's in templated version. So you can just
description, hit the thing.
You can just go and link to it. But let the images speak for you. You've already done 98% of the job. And I'm so guilty of it. Tim is guilty of it.
Oh, yeah.
We have literally dozens of galleries that have never seen the light of day that 5 years into this business, me would have said, those need to be blogged instantly.
Immediately.
Like, that's going to change my life. You know what I mean? And it's part of my workflow tracker that I do write down which weddings I should be blogging so that I remember, because at the end of a year, you're like, names,
they were all
what,
the same.
Don't know.
Yeah.
So it's important to remind yourself of which weddings you do want to be blogging and then just get started on it. Just literally get started. Yeah. In your ideal world, how consistently would you like to be with your blogging?
Once a month. Ideal. Be so nice.
It would
12
be
a year
huge.
is great.
12 a year is really
great. And focus on the venues I want to work at most. That's the other thing. Having a strategy, having if you shoot like a backyard hootenanny, that's great. You had a good time.
Strategically, that's not the one necessarily, unless you only want to shoot backyard hootenannies.
You only want to do hootenannies. Yeah, exactly. That's your thing. So
I love a hootenanny.
I love a hootenanny too.
You and I had as many hootenannies that one year.
They're a lot of fun.
You're like, what's a hootenanny? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
A hootenanny, just because that's so annoying for somebody to say, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We shot some backyard gatherings that we were like, speaking of health inspectors, this thing should be shut down.
But if that's your vibe, I mean, go for it.
What you want is an elopement in the Pacific Northwest, you should be blogging about elopements in the Pacific Northwest. Now you're asking us, Tim and Lindsay,
ask.
How do I get a job doing a thing I've never done? How do I get attention on my website for a thing that I have not yet attracted a client for? so funny you should ask. I personally would write some educational content that relates to it. Perhaps the photos will not be here's a wedding,
one-to-one direct.
Yeah, here's an elopement that I shot on a helicopter.
But you'll have a couple looking happy in a photo, and sometimes that's enough.
And something that's in a similar vein to
Yes.
it. But if you can create educational content.
Yes.
So if you can say how to plan the best wedding timeline.
Yes.
For a Pacific Northwest elopement.
And you have a photo of a bride or groom reading like a piece of paper, shedding a tear. It looks like they're like part of that moment. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be they could be just against a window with no discernible background or any location that determines where they are. But if you say it's Pacific Northwest and they see a photo of a woman standing by a window or through a window, like, oh, that could be it. Yeah, I like that.
Could be it. So that was so specific, Tim.
Thank you.
Through a window. If you don't have the images to support 1 to 2 blog posts a month, which many people do not, mix in some educational content, mix in things that are truly helpful for you so that when people inquire and they say, hey, what's your style? Do you not have a blog post ready to go of you explaining your signature style?
That's me.
And that it can be a collection of images from different weddings. That can be you showcasing your direct flash. That can be you showcasing your natural light. That can be you showcasing like a wide variety of images that you're proud
Getting ready.
of.
Talk about getting ready. Talk about family formals.
You can talk about, I honestly, it's so niche. I want to make a blog specifically saying, please stop bringing your shit to weddings in reusable bags.
Yeah, and those fucking totes.
Why? Why
are we looking at red bags in the background?
Why am I looking at a Shoppers Drug Mart bag? It's so crazy that people
my shoes.
show up, bridesmaids, groomsmen, family members, wedding guests, officiants, vendors, every single one of you that doesn't own a nicer bag than a Shoppers Drug Mart 35-cent cloth bag. I understand.
Melts in the rain.
We said plastic bags were bad, so then we started making cloth bags that literally don't biodegrade. Don't get me started. I'm already started. But that is not allowed, and I think I'm going to make a blog post specifically on. It's so important for you to stop carrying your shit in these insane bags. I have literally memorized the color of every single major retailer in our area, based
even
on
the different shades of blue when it comes to like Walmart.
Real Canadian Superstore is blue.
Yeah.
Yep. It's crazy.
Sobeys is green.
If you have a pain point that's causing you problems, your clients are never when you show up to the guys getting ready, they're never dressed and ready to go.
Yeah.
Write a little blog post
Shirts
on what
and
you're
pants,
hoping
gentlemen.
for them.
And you won't offend anyone unless they work for Big Bag and they're like, well, bags are the reason that we're here at all together. We're the ones who created these non-biodegradable bags.
We love bags.
Those people don't exist. They're not going to hire you because those people are monsters. So don't worry about offending people. People want to be helped. They've never done this before. You've done this several times, hopefully, at this point. They want to know what are the tips to make it look great, make your job easier, and make the images much more memorable and more enjoyable for everyone to experience. They don't want you to sit there. They don't want you to sit there for 4 hours on Photoshop editing out these goddamn bags or making sure that, there's not like I can't even think of another example. That's it. Bags. Fuck the bags. Make it easy for them. Give them educational things that will provide value and also position yourself as the expert in what makes a good image.
The other spectacular thing about making educational content is that you can batch it.
Yeah.
So you can pre-write and pre-design these emails and you can schedule them to go out.
But before
you could do that. You find yourself time in February, you can do that for the whole year in February.
We need to do that.
You know what we need to do? We need to make like I talked about doing it years ago, but call it like the off-season getaway.
Yes.
Where we do like an off. So it's
a
off-season.
workaway.
Here's all the things that we said we were going to do.
Mexico.
In off-season.
2 weeks. But then there's like margaritas and tacos and you just get distracted.
I can drink a margarita and eat a taco while pre-batching my blogs. That sounds phenomenal. In fact, that's my dream come true.
Kel.
So I know Kelly's going to love it.
Yeah.
So pre-batch some things when you find yourself with a window of time. If you're feeling uninspired, again, lean on things like ChatGPT, do some research on other people's blogs and see what they're writing. If you're looking at SEO looking things, you're Googling and you're finding out what are other people writing about and what are other people engaging with.
Yeah.
The things that are top ranked are probably the ones that people are engaging with. Maybe you're not going to copy it word for word because that would be insane, but you can find something adjacent that feels like you, that feels like your own personal content that matches your style and your vibe. Now, that you're exceptional and you have figured all of that out.
You've looked at the template in the description below of this episode.
You've looked at all of that. I feel like the biggest takeaway here is that one, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Okay, people go and lay bricks every single day.
People cut people open and like remove hearts and like mess with them.
People are doing crazy shit. And you're listening to a podcast in your car or while you're editing and you're thinking, I don't have time to blog. Grow up.
There are individuals driving trucks that have like 18 gears.
That's crazy.
What?
There's somebody at the side of the road right now changing tires on a truck that just landed in a ditch, and they're like trying to get this 18-wheeler out. There's a
guy in the sky operating buttons on a plane that should not, they made of metal, they should not be up there. It doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any sense. There's a flight attendant somewhere that's getting screamed at by some asshole because their vodka tonic doesn't have enough vodka or enough tonic or ice cubes in it. Okay, your job is so cool.
Describe how the internet works, please, in the description below. If you could describe how it works. Someone's job is that.
Someone's job is making the internet work, okay?
Shut up.
Your job's not that hard.
Real easy.
Make a plan. Understand why said plan is important to you.
Yes.
What are your values? You want to make money and you want to have a good time at it. Blogging helps that. Remind yourself that this is not that hard.
No.
And then go and write some cool shit on the internet and tell us about it because we want to see your next blog. So if you blog this week, you blog after hearing this, oh my gosh, please tell us.
Link
Our
us.
egos will just be through the roof. Through the roof.
Oh, if we don't.
If they blog something.
And they don't tell us about it.
Oh, I don't know. You're right. I did say if you don't.
Listen, the big
I was on
takeaway
a
is
roll there.
blogging is important. It's building on your own land. It's something that they cannot take away from you as long as you have a credit card that's active and you can still afford a domain. Zuckerberg will take away whatever he can. He's a greedy motherfucker. And everyone else is out for themselves. So you need to be out for yourself as well, building on your own property that is your website, your domain, your space, your corner of the internet. Make it your own. Make it valuable for your couples.
One thing I didn't do. One really quick thing that I didn't do is tell you what platforms and tools we use to blog. Okay, really, really fast.
Hit it.
And then we're leaving.
Good.
Okay, I use Narrative Publish. I've already told you this. That's what I do to write the things, to plug and play the images in. It's really weird. Narrative doesn't talk about this more often. I guess it's because they have other AI tools that they're trying to push more. I don't use those. You guys know I use Imagine, but Narrative Publish for blogging is massive. I also have a Focal website.
Yes.
They do AI blogging, also massive. I'm just very, very, very particular about my formatting. So I use Narrative. I also use Chat when my brain is not figuring out how to write a thing that is different, has different adjectives and different words. And when I'm at, you can use Chat to say, what educational content are brides near me searching for? Yeah. You can use Chat to say, I want to write a blog about your getting ready timeline in the morning, and Chat will start you off. You should not just copy and paste it. No.
It's a starting point. It's an inflection point for you to take it. It
gets your wheels turning, hopefully. Yes. Right. And that's the most important thing. Squarespace, Pic-Time, Pixie Set, blah, blah,
they all have integrated blogs.
You can blog. You can do it. Pic-Time does have the ability to blog directly from your own galleries. So that's pretty freaking cool.
Pretty nice.
I will say that with any of these things, you should make sure that your blogs are properly ranking. Our friends over at Focal always remind us of this. Whether it's Focal or it's Squarespace, whatever it is, your blogs have to actually be searchable on Google. And listen, I'm not that guy. I can't help you with that.
We don't know how the internet works.
We are told that some people's blogs are not even searchable. Okay, now, Tim, it's time to tell people to go to the description of the thing of the whatchamacallit. What is this thing called? Show notes.
Podcast.
Go to the show notes.
Yes.
Because there
we
have created a template for you to make your own blog. So the very first one right here, my sweet little baby angels, is pre-made for you. You just go and plug your little stuff in and you go and mash your little keyboards and you type some stuff and you're going to put it on your website. And then the only thing you're going to do after that is you're going to post it on your Instagram stories. You're going to post it on your Instagram post. You're going to make a little ticky-tacky. You're going to make whatever. You're going to send it out to your mailing list, because while it is there, you point to it. You point to it and you point to it.
Another thing, you got an inquiry this week. They didn't follow you. You're playing cat and mouse, or just cat, because they're being a real sneaky mouse. You email them back, say, hey, haven't heard from you in a couple of days. Wondering if you're still interested. BTW just posted a blog post that I think kind of pertains to the kind of photos you're looking for your wedding day. Just update them on people who are not responding and ghosting
I will be
you.
honest. Whenever if I have a couple that I really want to book, I did this for a huge wedding that I knew was like deciding between me and somebody else. I very casually, I very casually just threw together a blog from their venue of a really gorgeous wedding that I hadn't blogged yet.
Yeah.
Within a day, they were like, yeah, we'll book.
The point is, it's a sales tool, people.
Yeah.
Use it as a tool. Use it as something that's evergreen. Build on your own land. We love you. We'll see you next week. No excuses.
We love you. Respect. Show us your blog. Can't wait to see it.
Go in the peace of God.
Sayonara.
Ciao.